Guess who's back? Back again. Pint Taken's back. Tell a friend. I could keep going, but maybe it's the toque doing it.
It could be.
Well,
It could
welcome
be.
back, bud.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going. It's going. I
Yeah.
am wearing a toque for the visual audience. You know, it's a little chilly in the basement. Also, I'm trying to look really, really cool and, trying to reverse jinx winter. Go
It's
away.
working.
We
The
fed
cool,
enough.
the cool factor is working.
I hope the reverse jinx is going to work better, though.
Oh man, yeah. Just can you put two toques on right now or what?
Hey, plus 10, I believe, on Wednesday. Let's go.
Not here.
No, plus
No.
9,
No.
plus 8.
15 millimeters of rain they're calling for, but maybe plus 5, I think.
Oh, that'll drop the snow a little bit.
Yeah, and then
Just
make it
watch.
ice overnight. No big deal. Whatever.
Just
That's
watch
super
your
safe.
basement.
Yeah, super safe.
So it's been a while, man. It's been 3 weeks. We were busy. Obviously, that's no excuse, but we were busy. I had norovirus ripped through my house. It took me
Yeah.
out for almost a week. And unfortunately, and I don't like saying this on a beer podcast, but the last thing I wanted to see was a beer during those 5-6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough, man. Keeping things down was not easy, and beer was far from my mind. But then I rebounded, and we're back.
It's all about coming back stronger. Like Drew Brees wrote a book about it. Shout out Drew Brees, favorite NFL player of all time. Coming back
true.
stronger, and then we're just, everything got canceled, right? Like for you guys, the party that we were supposed to go to, we got a wicked snowstorm that same weekend. I
Mhm.
think during that week, we had over 4 feet of snow. We've had all of our snow
Ugh.
in 5 days.
That ain't
So,
right, man. That
It's
ain't
not.
right.
No, it was a
You're
slap
right
to
though.
the
It
face,
was a good
but
call to cancel. It was
Yeah.
like lucky, but it was good because we had snowstorm and sickness together, and it just worked out. So
yeah.
it sucked, but it worked out for everybody. I think better. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to go harder the next time. Next time we plan to get together. So
That's it. And
Yeah.
you were telling me you planned out a little day for us, like a little Brothers Day or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think planning out a nice brewer. I was kind of looking at breweries and I was looking on their websites and I looked at a map and I'm like, okay. So they said the next time we're together, I'm gonna like create a route
Yeah.
on
100.
just hitting as many as we can within a reasonable distance, right? Just in this area, there's just dozens. So we pick some of the ones we always talk about and that we like, and we go there because that's one thing about going there, right? Is you get the stuff you don't always get in the stores, right? So
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
I've
So
always
that's
been. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a whole day and just crush it.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of like doing brewery tours and stuff like that, and I mean that's where you find like a lot of the good things, but the diamonds in the rough and those top 5 beers and murder greenhouses and whatnot. Like there's all of those, everything in between, top 5 beers and death.
Yeah, and like and then and even the popular beers in some of these smaller breweries, only the popular ones make it into the LCBO and in the beer
Yeah.
stores, right? So you got
Yeah.
those ones that you don't ever see. You got to go there to get them, which I think is great for the breweries, right?
100%.
That's where they make their money.
Yeah.
It's good, man. And also too, I'm gonna say we're working. We've been working on this for a little bit. I think we're gonna dig in a little more, but we need a little music for the intro.
Yes.
You passed over some pretty fun
Yes.
AI samples created by your buddy, and we're gonna go through them. And I think we narrowed it down to a couple, and just a smooth
Yeah.
little 30-second-ish intro, and that should be good.
Yeah,
This
I
is the
think
one
just
time I'll
like
say thanks for AI.
right, like, and if we end up using one of those, we're gonna have to give a huge shout out, and maybe 10 years down the road we give out royalties. But Chris, who I work with, he was doing it all on his own, and he just created it and sent it over, and he's a big fan of the podcast, and so hopefully we can get something going on there, and it'll
Yep.
just enhance the opening, other than like you spitting bars. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
Like,
put the toque on and just came alive, right? I just
That's
figured it was
it.
the best way.
That's it.
But
Oh,
yeah.
what is I don't know if you can see. Yeah,
Oh,
you got super
mine's
bad.
one thing, but like,
What do
what
I
is this?
have?
Is this what they call merch? Is this
This
the
is what
kids are
they
calling
call
merch?
little merch. Yeah, I just happened to it popped up in the frame here and
It's
had a
like, oh,
couple of
look at that.
look at oh what is this? Yeah, I had a couple of t-shirts made. Local lady here, she made she made me two shirts, one for me, one for you, and then she
Beautiful.
made these stickers too that I put over top of my other um, hat or my other patch on my hat. And so I was trying to support as much as I can
It's
and
looking good.
shout it out there. So it's nice. I'm happy. We've got a small logo on the front of the podcast, and then on the back is another like full back size logo of the podcast. So
Nice.
um,
Is
you
there a
know,
dragon? Just curious.
no dragons.
No dragon yet. Yeah. Okay.
No. I was thinking about putting like a dragon on the sleeve,
That's.
but
I like it.
I opted out this time. So we can go. This
This
was kind of a
time.
surprise. Right, like you surprised me with getting those glasses made, so I surprised you with having these T-shirts made. So it was like
Beautiful.
we didn't artistically mesh at this point, but we could totally hammer out
The
some
merch
designs.
is growing, though. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
I
you
love
got
it.
to
It's
get
the
it
best
out
kind
there.
of uniform you can wear, man. Yeah, we got to exchange shirts for glasses. That's true.
Yeah, it's a fair deal. Fair deal, if you ask me. And I got some stickers for you too. We had
Yeah.
a couple little stickers made, and I've
Stickers
got
are nice because they're easy,
quite a
right?
few.
They're just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's just a logo with a little bit of a black background, white border. I mean, you could cut out the white border if you want.
Yep.
But yeah, it's we're trying
I
to
like it.
put it out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, you order enough of them, you go to the mall, you stick them on people's windshields, and they love you forever, right? Because people love that stuff.
Right in view, if you ask
I
me,
know I
or
do.
on their side mirror. They love it.
So they have to acknowledge it. They have
That's
to tear it
it.
off. So.
These guys. I
These
want to see
guys
what they're all
again.
about. They're pretty funny. Not
Yeah,
with this
who-
sticker, but
Who knows, right? I'm
getting
dying
thirsty,
of thirst,
man.
man.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
What-
that's
you want
the
to
time,
go?
eh?
You want me to go?
You go ahead.
You go
You
ahead.
already-
Okay.
You said you already picked yours out.
I did. Yeah. I
Yeah.
got. I'm trying to learn to back up here. So I told you I went to a place called the Furnace Room. Shout out
Yes.
Furnace Room. We've had a couple of their beers before. They are literally in the GO train parking lot to where I take the train. They share the parking lot practically, so they're right there. So there's no excuse not to do a pit stop once in a while. So
Yeah.
shout out to those guys. So like I said, going into the brewery, they have a couple beers in the LCBO, and sometimes here you'll see them in the grocery stores as well. And they're kind of their primary mainstream kind of beers. But you go in there and there's different stuff, right? So I picked out and you actually I sent you a picture and you eyed this one up. It's the cherry
Oh.
lime sour called Scrambler
No way.
from Furnace Room. It's a kind of a cool. It's got a little carnival ride too because there's a carnival ride called Scrambler.
That's
I was
right.
kind of clued into that when I picked it up for a
Yeah.
second time. But yeah, cherry lime. I feel like you cannot go wrong with this.
You
This
probably
has got to
can't.
be good, right?
You probably can't.
I can already picture the color of it.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that was
now, I'm
That
very
was
bad
an
at the
excellent
pour.
sound of an opening too.
We're gonna pour it right in McLovin's face here. We're gonna pour
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Oh, it's not red.
What?
Look at that. It's not
Send it
very- I
back.
was expecting like a cherry. You think dark burgundy
Mhm.
red? Oh, pick it up here. Yeah, it's a very pinky
Good.
color.
That's a good
Look at
pour.
that. That is a solid pour that time. Yeah, I did it
Yeah.
right. Didn't
Is
spill
that one
it.
of your new glasses?
This is my Red Wings glass.
Okay.
It's a tulip glass, but the boys just lost back-to-back games to Columbus. Very, very disappointing. So I got to try to rally the troops here with a pour into their glass. But
Source it out.
I did when I was at Furnace Room. We can talk about this in a little bit, but I did ask them about glassware. I was like, "You guys got any glasses for sale?" I'm kind of in the business lately, and they
Yep.
didn't have any yet. So hopefully in the
Okay.
spring and summer, they said they're bringing some out. So
That'd be
next
cool.
time, Furnace Room. So let's smell sour. So
Yep. Oh, I heard the glug first.
ooh,
Yeah?
more lime than cherry,
Really, eh?
which is interesting.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What kind of lime are we talking about here?
Um.
A good kind of lime or
No, it's a good kind of lime.
okay,
It's
okay. I was
nice.
gonna say.
Just not expecting that.
Really?
Usually
Eh?
cherry overpowers, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, no, that's more lime than cherry. I'm actually impressed by that. It seems like that's the balance you usually don't get. But that's delicious.
And you want to know what's the bad part? You'll never buy it again because you've already had it once. right? Like this is
I
the
got two
journey
of them
we're
though.
on, right? Like this is the journey we're on. It's like, oh, that was so good. Too bad I'll never try this ever again in my life.
Well, I'm at the point now where when I go into a place like that, I look up on my Untapped and I'm like, did I have that? And like,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yep.
So you're looking through going, what did I think of that? First of all, did I have it? And what did I think of it? Oh, I loved it. Okay. I loved it 6 years ago. So yeah, I'll take another
so
one.
it's time to try it again.
Exactly. I will say this too, Untapped. You probably haven't been paying attention that close, but this is a milestone beer for me. This is check-in number 400.
What?
On the nose, and I kind of did that a little bit on purpose for the podcast. But
nice
400, yeah, you don't hit a new 100 every day, so
you don't.
Milestone.
There you go.
Yeah.
And on the podcast too, like new beer.
Exactly.
So you got new beer Monday. We're recording this on a Monday, and you've got a milestone beer on top of that. So like that's perfect.
That's
love
a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting close, and yesterday I was at 397, so I had a couple. We were at your parents for dinner. I was like, I'm gonna have two, and that way when we sync up tomorrow, 400. Yeah, I feel like we're counting home runs here. It's like
that's it,
Mr. 400. Yeah, I'm happy to be in the fours, man.
There you go. It's all
right,
up.
What are you
It's
rocking?
all up from here. It's funny because like
right.
You and I, we will discuss topics. We've said this I don't know how many times. I think every episode we discuss topics, but we don't talk about what our points are that we're going to make or the beers that we're going to crack. Okay,
True.
So I have here a raspberry lime beer from Collective Arts. It's
lime is the flavor today.
Yeah,
it's a common denominator.
So we went, and I'm going to touch into this afterwards. We went to a beer festival on the weekend. I cannot wait till the next one. It was so incredible. I loved it. But we sampled a few, and we convinced our Uber driver to take us to the LCBO on the way home and stop off and get us some tasty treats and whatever. And I found this in Ottawa, of all places, not even around the corner in my local Pembroke LCBO. So,
yeah, raspberry lime. See, I'm a raspberry guy.
I saw this through like some kind of staggered vision, and I'm like, raspberry. Oh, Mike likes that. So I bought it, and I was like, I'm going to drink this on the podcast.
I'm going to tease his ass on the live. Not live. Well, it's live right now, but
it's live for us.
Let's
look
see
at that color.
Oh, see, that's what I was expecting. The color.
But that's the raspberry, though. I think.
Oh, glorious.
That's the raspberry.
That's glorious.
Don't overflow.
No, it's perfect. Come on now.
Everybody now.
Oh, wow, that's perfect.
Perfect. I mean, like this looks like a smoothie beer, and you can smell it. Like, so you were talking about the raspberry jam stand or whatever.
Jam stand.
Yeah, and you could smell it like from miles away.
She was bringing it to me, and I couldn't even see her coming from behind. And
this is attaching itself to my DNA. That's how strong the smell is.
I'm excited for you.
It's Smuckers in a can, but beer flavor. Yeah.
Oh man.
Here we go.
Oh, that's a healthy serving.
I want two of these. I want two of these.
How many did you buy?
One.
Oh.
But here's the thing. I'll find it again. Oh my gosh, that's good. Oh yeah, and you know what? You're not going to be able to see this. The camera itself is not going to pick it up. But you know the seeds and like raspberry jam?
Mm-hmm.
You can see it in my glass.
What? No.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Check the socials later. I'm going to snap a pic real quick. Check the socials, and you're going to be able to see all the stuff inside the glass.
Wow. You know what's a good idea?
Yeah, there it is.
A good idea? A camera inside the glass. Like, they have cameras in everywhere, right? Like, have a camera inside the glass. You can see all the little seeds floating around. Oh, man. That's authentic then. You got the seeds?
You're going to be able to see it. Yes, sir. Oh. And you know what? It's more raspberry than lime. It's you get that lime kick at the end. And I would say that the head on this is the most flavorful part because it's all that carbonated release.
Nice.
Wow, so good.
Collective Arts, you said?
Collective Arts. Raspberry Lime Ghost. It's a limited release sour number 31.
Okay. I've heard of Collective Arts, so that's a common one. Oh man, I gotta get my hands on it.
Oh boy, yes. You know what? That could be your new favorite
Oh,
raspberry beer.
that's the potential's there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love it. Love it. All right, so on to beer adventures. You obviously have a major role in this, being at a festival, which I hope to be at the same one soon. It's in a couple locations here, so hopefully I can ride
Yep.
your coattails. I'll go through mine bullet point pretty quick. Because it's been 3 weeks,
Yeah.
although a week was a write off, so it really hasn't been 3 weeks for
Yeah. It doesn't
beer
really
drinking
count.
purposes. But I went to Third Moon, of course. It's almost like a bi-weekly thing now.
Yep.
Had the new, I think I mentioned on the last show, was they had the new Funky Monkey Epoch slushy,
Yes.
the chocolate banana. I had just got it that day, so hadn't tried it. I liked it a lot. I got a couple people tried it and they were like, no, no. But it's a
Hmm.
beige color. It's almost looks like a milkshake.
Yep.
I liked it a lot. I tried their two of their New England IPAs. One was Resilience and one was
Yes.
the Long Winter. You've probably
Yes.
seen those. Yeah,
I have
both
seen
six and a
those.
half percent. Both really good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed both of them. I was
Was the
out. Yep.
was the Long Winter like a darker IPA? Like I felt
Uh,
like it was.
oh my God, I'm trying to remember now. That was a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was pretty no, like pretty average, like sort of orange juice looking.
Okay.
Yeah, not thick like that, but
Okay.
it was decent. You would have
Sure.
liked both of them. Yeah, they were just a nice fresh IPA.
Yeah.
I was out basketball last week. I went a little earlier to the train than usual because there's a Wurst, as you'd say, a WVRST, that little pub that's in Union
Yes.
Station. Hit
Okay.
that a little earlier because I knew I was like, I'm in the mood for, I'm back, baby, from sickness.
Back thirsty.
Like I gotta try something, back and thirsty. So I tried something called Le Chouf Blonde, which is like a golden ale.
Oh.
Really good. Didn't realize until I was halfway through it. I'm like, damn, am I just floating a little bit? Or it was 8%. I was like,
Oh.
oh,
Hey. How
didn't
are
taste
you?
8%.
No.
Really, really good though. Really good.
That's
Went
dangerous from
nice
those
with some.
ones.
Oh man, it didn't taste like 8% at all. Then I look, I'm like, oh, strong beer. Okay, yeah. Went well with some nice truffle fries. Was the pairing.
Oh, you
I'd recommend it.
fancy.
Fancy
You,
bourgeois.
you fancy.
And then then the last two just I had a couple more in there, nothing crazy, just highlighting some good ones, right? Then the furnace room I went yesterday and I tried the Pilot Light light lager. Really
Yep.
nice. That's a crushable. That's like your Miller Light in the summer, MG,
Boom.
like something like that. Really nice there. And then Shop Talk. It was an American brown ale. And I had a
Hmm.
little trouble at first. I couldn't find it on Untapped, so I created it, and I didn't realize till after. I'm like, oh, I called it American Brown Ale, and it's not called that. It's called Shop Talk, but
Ah,
on the can, it's sort of confusing. But I found it afterwards, and yeah, fixed that whole thing up. But pretty good too. Very caramelly. I wasn't expecting that just
nice.
from a brown ale, but it was very brown, but really really nice taste.
That was
And
a
yeah,
collab brew, no?
it was a collab brew. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
they collabed with. Oh boy.
I never heard of that brewery.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, I forget the name of it. Forget the name of it.
Check Untapped.
I'd have to get the can again. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a collab though. Maybe that was why it was hard to find. But
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of it for me. Just some randoms here and there, but all in all, good stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, what did you get up to in
Oh
Ottawa?
boy. See, like, I didn't have the norovirus, but I was sick like months ago. So I mean,
Lucky bastard.
I've just been, yeah, lucky, I guess. I dodged one bullet. But like, I haven't really had much beer either, to be honest. You know, just kind of not in the mood and slugging through February, January.
Dry Feb, unintentional
January.
dry Feb.
That's right. January's 3 months long, so you know you kind of get through that. But I did have a couple of really good ones. I had one, a blueberry wheat from Ashton Brewery. I think I'm not sure if I talked about this one before, but it was really good. Very blueberry forward, and unlike a typical wheat beer where you get like that, it's almost like banana flavor ish. You
Yeah.
didn't get that, so that was super nice.
Hard to go wrong with blueberry, I find. Blueberry
Yeah.
is just a nice, yeah.
It's
You
a,
get a
it's a
little
nice
fruit
one.
flavor, but then you still taste the beer, which I love.
And the blueberries itself, right? I mean, they don't linger even if like as the fruit, right? They just don't linger. You bite into them or you take a handful, you chew them. It's a clean flavor.
Mhm.
I'm always a fan of Lake of Bays. I had a Fresh Tracks. It was a hazy IPA, super good. I don't think I've had a bad beer from them, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, Another one, and I don't find these types of breweries in our area a lot, but I finally found one from Merit Brewing, who was either bought by Lake of Bays or they just merged together. But I had the Young Rival, and that's like one of their signatures, I think. I really, really enjoyed that.
You know what? You I think it was back in maybe the first episode or the second. It was early on. You mentioned there was a merger of
Yeah,
Merit and something. Yeah, yeah,
Merit
that must
and
be.
Lake of Bays.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you'd mentioned that before.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that must be
I,
full
f-
swing now.
I feel like now they're still under the Merit name. I
Yeah.
don't think that they're going to be like, oh, Merit by way of.
Hmm.
Um, but they're Southern Ontario, where Lake of Bays is more, I want to say Muskoka, so like what, centralish,
Yeah.
Eastern Ontario. So yeah, I think they're going to keep that going. I don't really know. I'm not in those boardroom meetings, so yeah. But I had one from
Yet.
them. I thought it was, yeah, not yet. Maybe they'll bring me on. I had one from them. I really enjoyed it. Lost Craft, I had one from them. Coastal Wave, it was really
Hmm.
good. Nice light can. The colors really drew me in because it's a vibrant can, as Lost Craft generally is.
Yeah, they got don't they have the cross with the paddles, the
Yep,
LC? Yeah, yeah.
LC, and then the paddles on the top and the
Yep.
bottom.
They're around. Yep.
Yep. And then like one of my favorite things is I played in a hockey tournament last weekend. And then when we were finally done the tournament on Saturday evening, like our team didn't advance, I had a really ice cold shower beer, which is one of my
Oh,
favorite things to do. I mean, if you're too good for a shower beer, we can't be friends.
I can't say I've ever done that, but I can't say I
What?
would never not do it. No.
What?
No, maybe I'll do it tonight. I'll just go up and
Thanks for listening, everyone. This is the grand finale. No, I'm kidding. Grand finale of the
I'm not
Pint
opposed
Taken.
to it, that's for sure.
Oh my god, dude! A hot shower and a cold beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that like when they're in
Synergy.
Sweden and they go in the sauna and they come out and roll in the snow? Like that's probably the
Synergy.
same feeling, right?
Yeah,
The
I
Canadian
guess.
version.
So good. But it was Life in the Clouds by Collective Arts. I had never had this one, which I thought that was
I've seen
strange.
that around a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good. I think it was yeah, it was a northeastern IPA. It was
Mm.
really good. I really enjoyed it. Again, like we played 2 games of hockey on Saturday, hot shower, cold beer. I'm at home. I don't have to go anywhere else to,
Oh, it sounds like a good day.
it was mint. Like just right before bed too. So, but then
Shut you down properly.
that's it. But then I kind of like abstained a little bit. So I
Hmm.
knew that I was going somewhere this past Saturday. And Mother Nature did not want me to go. She tried. She tried so hard. She brought a snowstorm on the Friday. We were going on the Saturday, but I made it to the I Heart Beer and Taco Festival in Ottawa on Saturday. I made it. And you know what? The drive down was treacherous. Krista was not a big fan of the traveling, but she toughed it out and we had a great time. We met up with her cousin and her cousin's husband. Uh, Her cousin's husband, Peter, looks like the dude from The Big Lebowski. I'm not even kidding you. His nickname is the dude. He's got the long hair. He's got the goatee. He looks like Jeff Daniels. His name is Peter, but like what an awesome guy. We couldn't have a better group of people to go with. So yeah, we made it. We had
That's
some
what you need.
beers and we're gonna talk about them here in a second.
So what was the atmosphere like there? Was it like the type where, and like I said, there's a couple of these iHeart Beer Festivals coming. One's this weekend in Kitchener, and then there's Guelph is at the end of April.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get to at least the Guelph one. I think this weekend might be a little bit quick, but the end of April, I'm gonna aim for that. So I'm looking forward to it. So the vibe
Yeah.
must have been
You
great.
know what? So like they have 3 sessions, or they had 3 sessions. So they had a
Yeah.
Friday night session, they had a Saturday afternoon, and a Saturday evening.
Same here. Yeah.
How am I going to sell this to my wife? So I said, hey, you know what? You don't like to be out in the dark, so let's go to the afternoon one. We went. It was busy but not crowded. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's good. I was gonna say, was it one of those where you're walking around like touching elbows with everybody, or is
No.
it like comfortable but like buzzing? Like
It's buzzing, and Like
Literally.
we would yeah, we would go. And I mean, they kind of followed me for the beginning part because like I wanted to go and I wanted to hit up Cowbell and I wanted to hit these people and I wanted to go to Lake of Bays and I want to anyway. You could go up and you could talk to the people behind the table and get your beer and whatever, and you can get your beer and like walk back. But it wasn't like in a crowded bar on a Saturday night where you're just like you have your beer up tucked under your chin so nobody bumps you and you're holding your out like you could turn around very comfortably, kind of step back. It was like a unwritten thing where people just kind of got out of the way of
Yeah.
where the beer was, and you could go 10 feet back. And I mean, I don't think we ever had a real issue standing in a circle with the four of us.
That's good. That's what you
Yeah.
want, right? Like
Yeah.
this is
I
like
mean,
if Costco, if you're listening, take some notes because this is what you need. Not people standing around with the 18-meter wide carts.
yeah.
No, that sounds
Yeah.
good, man. That's what I would want. Is like you don't want it to be empty. You want that
No,
buzz, but like you want to be able to comfortably chat and move. And yeah, that
that's it.
sounds
I mean,
very ideal.
there was some loud music, and at times you were kind of yelling a little bit, but the further away you got from like where the DJ booth was, kind of deal. Because I mean, they have music going. It's an event. They're gonna have it going.
Yep.
Um, it just got quieter, and then you're able to carry on a conversation with the people giving you the beer, and you can hear like if you're asking a question about the style of beer and they're asking you what kind of beers you like you can have that one-on-one
Yeah.
where it's not like, what'd you say? Huh? I like cold beer. Like it wasn't like that. But yeah, busy but not crowded is the best way that I would describe that.
That's good.
Yeah.
What'd you dip into?
Oh, what didn't I dip into? I
Okay,
dipped
start
into
there.
everything.
That's probably shorter
Yeah.
list.
So, as you know, I'm not a big liquor guy. They did have some distillers and they had
Yeah.
some ready to mix drinks there, like Founders Original was there. They had a couple of distillers that I didn't really look at. I didn't give them my attention because there was other things that held my attention quite a bit. Um, we started off right away with going into Cowbell. It was the first vendor in the lineup, so it's like, okay, let's hit this up. So I got a smooth sailing, which is a light lager. Perfect way to start off my afternoon.
Just dip your toes in.
I was just smooth sailing after that. Super light, really nice, not overly malty. See now, the more beers I described, the less I'm going to be able to describe them, because, like I said, I started off with this nice light one, but somewhere along the way there was a 10% stout in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the little blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Just a little spike there. Yeah.
yeah, that's the this is kind of bang.
It's
That's
like time for a challenge.
yeah, that's the Red Bull one, right? So Krista had a little bit of a peach cider as well.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
oh
God.
my gosh, it was pesh.
Sign
It
me
was
up.
pesh. Yeah. If we're not buying a case of this in the summer and drinking it at mom and dad's or your place or our place, we're doing something wrong. It was so good. So good. My mouth is watering. I have to wipe the saliva. Yeah. Because like it's all the things you want in a cider,
Yeah.
but then it's peach flavored. So
Yeah.
it's everything that I want in a cider. Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yeah. So down from there, I mean, we kind of kept going and going and going, and we've come across a couple of things. So then we made it around to the other side. So it's like you get there and you get a beer because you want to start something, and then we kind of walked down and then rounded the corner, and Lake of Bays was there.
Yeah.
I stopped off there because I'm a huge fan. I want to go there all the time, and they had a beer there that I had never seen. It was called Damn It.
Oh.
And it was a hazy IPA. And it's appropriately named because, I mean, for me anyway, I took a drink and I was like, damn it, that's good. But on the can, it was like a pink can and there was a beaver on there, as far as I remember anyway. But
Did you start humming the Blink-182 song in your head?
No, I didn't. I didn't. They had, I
Next
can't
time.
even remember what song they were playing at that particular moment, but it was not that one, but it was so good. For like later on in the evening, so you kind of do the rounds and
Yeah.
you're picking some up. But since I'm at Lake of Bays, I'll talk about the other beers that I had. They've partnered with a famous female curler. I can't remember her first name for the life of me, but it's
not
Team.
Rachel Holman, is it?
It is Rachel Holman. Nice one.
Hey,
Yeah,
curling expert over here.
yeah. Your curling knowledge has really, yeah, your curling knowledge has really paid off. But I had the Team Holman light lager, and I'll tell you what, it was so good. It was so good.
I was gonna say, she's the only one I know now. So I was like, I'm gonna take a shot here.
And that's all I see on their social media right now is like they're really pumping this, which
they're pushing it.
You know, good for them, and as they should. It's a really good beer. But they also have a near zero option. Okay. And I tried that as well, and it is equally as good. You would not be able to tell really. Now, granted, I drank it later in the day, but you wouldn't be able to tell really that it's zero alcohol.
I think they're getting closer to perfecting that now. I feel like a lot of these places
they are,
they all have a non-alcoholic option on their menus and websites. Yeah,
a lot of them do. So right beside them was a brewery that I had kind of known about, but I've never seen any one of their beers in any of the LCBOs I've ever been in. They're based out of Orleans, and it's called Stray Dog.
Okay.
This is where the 10% stout came in. Like, just a couple. And it was called Dark Matter. So they had the list of what they were offering, I guess you could call it. And it was Dark Matter, Safe Word. So
I like that.
I had the Dark Matter right away. And oh my gosh, I'm a stout guy. And this was either 8.5 or 10.2%. I can't remember which one. But with the with your tickets to this event, you get a cup. And the cup is about, I don't know, it's a sample cup, but not like the tiny shot glass sample cups. Like you can fit a half can of beer if you were to give them 2 tokens.
Okay.
Yeah. Or slightly more than a tall boy in your cup. Yeah. So let's call it a, I don't know, 400 ml cup. Okay.
Makes sense.
So anyway, or 375. So you give them 1 token, you get your cup half filled. Most people were filling it slightly over half. Some were like, yeah, here you go. The full thing for 1 token. But this Dark Matter, holy wow. Chocolate, not super coffee. It had vanilla beans in it. It was an imperial style, so it's supposed to be a little boozy, but I didn't get any booziness. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it sounds dark and bold. Dark Matter.
Dark and bold.
Sounds like a Spielberg movie.
That's right. And then later on, so we did the circle a couple of times, and I came back and I had the Safe Word Hazy IPA. I'm mad at all these people because they're making beers that are so delicious, but I can't get them. Like Orleans is a 2-hour drive from here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd never see it in the LCBO. I mean, yes, I could order it online and have it shipped to the door, but that's kind of like defeats I can have anything.
Yeah.
I want, right? Like special. Except for the Epoch slushies, I can't get those. Someday we'll invent that technology where it could ship from Milton to Pembroke, but that's. I was kind of hoping that I could find a beer that I didn't like. That is like, I'm kind of glad I can't find this anywhere. But I found all the beers that I had, I loved. Nice. I loved them all.
I know it's experience too, right? Like we talk about that a lot. It's experience. It's the social aspect. It's the beers taste better when you're chumming it up and shooting the shit, and
that's it.
It's good. So when you had the beer, like how did they pour it in your cup? Like, is that how, or did you get the can? Or because we often talk a lot about like now pouring the beers into can. Like I don't drink a beer out of the can anymore. It's just, totally doesn't, like that's just old news to me. I love the pouring of the glass, the seeing it, the extra flavor. Like, so I was curious, like how do they present it to you, or how do you?
Well, so you get that souvenir cup, and that's your cup that they fill up.
Oh, is it clear?
Yes, and it has logos all over it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep. And there's rinse stations as well around, or
Oh,
there
I love
was at
it.
the EY Center in Ottawa. And it's just water. So, and like it's like you just rinse it out. Because I mean, if you're going from a dark imperial stout like that, and then you want to try a
Peach
sour
cider.
next, right? Like they're not gonna mesh too well.
No.
So yeah, you can totally rinse it out, pour it out, and go to the next one.
Yeah.
So right beside them was it was either right beside or two over Dominion City. And
Okay.
Dominion City, they're in Ottawa as well. They had the Ghosts of Juan Almonte.
Whoa.
It was a jalapeno lime
Whoa.
ghost style beer. Nope. You commented on my Untapped, not a sponsor.
And that's all, folks. We're done.
Showstopper.
He said the safe word, jalapeno. Not so safe word.
Yeah. Oh man. But it was like all the pepper flavor that you'd want, and like you don't want a lot, but you get the pepper flavor and a little tiny bit of the heat, not spice, heat, big difference.
Okay.
But you'd also get the lime, and the ghost style is very similar to a sour beer style.
Yes.
So you're getting that carbonation and everything. I bet you would have liked it. I
Yeah.
bet you would have. Yeah.
So probably better than the other one. That
was a little thicker. Yeah. But it was more lime than jalapeno.
Okay. Then I'm probably okay.
Yeah, I think you would have liked it. I met a guy there, the salesman named Marco. We're gonna hit him up. Hopefully we can get one of the brewers or even himself on as a guest. That was the other thing about going to this place. Like I wore a shirt. Obviously, you had to. That was the rules.
I was like, oh,
yeah, that was the rules.
so
but
restrictive.
I brought a pile of these stickers with me because I'm like, you know what? Why not hand them out? Who else? They're just sitting up here in the studio here.
Yep.
I'll take them with me. I'll hand them out to people. I'll hand them out to breweries. And I put one on my shirt, not this shirt because it's already got the logo, right? But I put one on my shirt, and I had a lot of people ask me about it, like, "What's that?" And be like, "Oh, that's our podcast. Me and my brother, we talk about it." Well, what do you talk about? I kind of felt like being like, "Well, we talk about
libraries."
Yeah, we talk about the space program of Sri Lanka. Like, why would it's the pint taken?
What's a pint? I'm like, you need to just kindly leave.
Yeah. Yes.
You're in the wrong festival here.
Exit stage left.
You came for the tacos, didn't you?
That's right. So I met Marco there. I've met a couple of people. And I'm going to reach out to them. So there's a brewery in Arnprior as well, which is about 45 minutes west of us, east, I think. So bad towards Ottawa. So bad that way.
Yep.
Hugh. I'm not sure if he's the founder or co-owner or the brewmaster. I met him very late in the day after I was nearing the end of my shift. So I've got their webpage, Facebook page. I'm going to be emailing them. Hopefully we can get them on as a guest. Next to them was Dave at Black Rapids in Ottawa, and going to reach out to them also. Everybody seemed really receptive to coming on and being a guest with us after I talked to them for a minute.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I wasn't intoxicated to the point where I was being a jerk. But like,
come on the podcast, please.
Just come here, man. Like, we can help you guys. Like, you need us.
Excuse me, sir. We'll scratch your back and whatever, man.
Excuse me, sir. Can you just wipe your mouth? You're drooling everywhere. It's like, no, man, you don't get it. We're big.
We're 8 deep, man.
Yeah, we're 8 deep. I got 2 tokens with your name on it. I can give them to somebody else. Anyway, but like everybody I talked to, Dave was an awesome guy at Black Rapids. A couple other guys I met, Craig and Jamie over at Bond Brewing. They're like a contract brewery. They brew through Big Rig, which Big Rig, I've just relearned this today. Part owner is Chris Phillips, former Ottawa Senator.
Defenseman, number 4, yes. Chris Phillips. Yep.
The Big Rig. So they do a lot of their brewing, and like they do a lot of the brewing. So if you're just kind of a one-off or whatever, or kind of getting into it, or don't have the capability, Big
Hmm.
Rig can help you.
Oh, I like
So
that.
that's what they were saying. I had an English style bitter from them. Very good. Very, very good. I'm going to hopefully find more of their beer. Same with Cold Bear. I hope to find more from them. I know where
Stephen
they are.
Colbert.
No. Hugh at Cold Bear.
Nice.
But I would think that the guys that I met the most, and I'm most excited like to have them on, these two guys, like we were joking that I have a magnetic personality when we're out in public because like just people want to flock to me or somehow attach themselves to me or vice versa. These two guys at this taco place, um, we're gonna get them on, and it's gonna be awesome. And it's gonna be so fun. I already have the idea. Well, they kind of pitched the idea, and now I'm running with it. So it's total an inception moment. But Chef Daryl and Chef Remy at Curry Curry Taco are the energy. You cannot be excited without like being beside them.
Well,
It
that's
was
the thing
just
about this thing, right? It's not like you have people on, or the plan is not to have people on like this is an interview. It's not like that. You come on, we drink a beer, we shoot the shit, we laugh,
yeah,
we just it's a conversation. It's
yeah,
it's just
for
like
sure.
sitting in the backyard, right? That's how I want this to go. Is like I don't want
Yeah.
to be like, all right, question one.
How
No,
did you
it's like we
get?
get on, like yeah, I tell
Yeah,
like it's just, and that's gonna be the fun part is guys like that just have their
yeah,
own story and just you play off each other and it ends up being a fun conversation.
yeah. I can't wait. Like he was telling me now, Chef Daryl was telling me um, that he does his own brewing, and I'm pretty sure he like there was so much information. Um, and I was just like, yeah, I got a guy that's super excited to come on the podcast, and my head started spinning and everything, and I was kind of like smitten almost or swooning kind of deal.
It's like a little bit of the dark matter, a little bit of the
A
energy.
little
There
bit
you
of dark
go.
matter. I needed a safe word. Yeah,
It was
but
jalapeno.
jalapeno. But I also had so if you're going, I had the curry chicken taco from them. It was the best taco I had all day, hands down, bar none. Best one I had all day. Um,
Beautiful.
but I can't wait to sit down with these guys and just talk food and beer and how they got into beer festivals and how they picked up beer and how they picked up chefing and all that stuff. Like super awesome guys from the
Yeah.
7 minutes that I talked to them. Yeah, but I mean, we've talked through our socials a little bit, or my personal socials through them. They're jazzed. I'm jazzed. You're gonna be jazzed by default. So here we go.
Might play some jazz. Who knows, man?
Maybe you should. I don't know, but I'm super excited to meet up with those guys. If you go and they're there, um, you got to go up and see them and get one of their tacos. You won't be disappointed.
Well, hopefully they're here. That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I will.
in the Guelph one.
I will refer to you and see if
Yes.
they remember. I'm sure they
Well,
will.
I'm sure hoping that between now and then, the two of us can be in the same location, the same GPS coordinates. So then, you know, oh man, I'm just hoping. I'm hopeful. So yeah, but that's pretty well.
That's a good
The,
time, man. That makes
yeah,
me look forward
I
to
had such a great time.
going.
I had such a great
Yeah.
time.
So that's yeah, and it's the same festival. It just travels around the
Yeah,
province, right? So
yeah,
yeah, but it'll look the same. It might be some different beers and vendors and stuff, but like that's the cool part of it. There'll be some the same, and I'm sure, and then there'll be
I would think
some
so.
different ones. So when
I
you,
think Cowbell is one of the
I think it's
leading
presented by
people.
Cowbell, yeah.
Yeah,
So they seem to be the big guns.
yeah, and I mean, the more I dive into them, the more I really like them.
Yeah,
So
no, that's good, man. That's we gotta do
yeah.
more of that, and then together would be ideal too.
Oh my gosh, together
So
would be
you
ideal.
just gotta get the timing down
Yeah,
and be healthy. That's
that's it. That's it.
get winter the hell out of here.
If they could have all these beer festivals between like May 2-4 weekend and Labor Day, I'm sure everyone would be 100% healthy and
Yes,
not have to worry about weather.
push through.
Yeah, let's do that. I heart beer.
Yes, exactly. So we so kind of that was Beer Adventures. I knew it was going to be a longer one just because there's a lot of different experiences
Yeah.
there, and that's cool. We don't get to go to those all the time, right? So the second part of this, we were going to do some beer headlines. So just
Yes.
some beer headlines articles that have been sort of in the news recently. I sent you some links. We kind of looked at the articles. They're all kind of impactful to what we talk about.
Hmm.
A lot of them are Ontario centric, like they're LCBO and things like that. So they may not
Yep.
be specifically applicable to some people, but it's still interesting to hear because what happens in Ontario often happens in the rest of the country.
Yep.
And they're not all like that, but they're just more, some of them are sort of more realistic, serious sort of news, but I kind of wanted to do them from that point to a little lighter as we go. We
Yep.
picked out 5 different kind of headlines that were going on in the beer industry, just talk quickly about each one, react, just kind of get the thoughts. Cause I mean, there's always stuff like literally if you just type in the word beer into Google and hit like the news link, right? It's just, there's always stuff. It's such a
Yeah.
crazy industry. So much going on. It's fun to read about and to catch up and to see how, like, how does that impact us and me and you and
Hmm.
the people, and it's a lot of that stuff, right? So the first article, I kind of selected them in order of, like I said, like more seriousness to like more kind of lighter as we go.
Yeah.
But the one thing that came up, I think it was last week. So the first article was called basically like local breweries are increasing their LCBO service fee to brewers, which the title said, which will end up hurting customers, which
Yeah.
if you think about it, that's true, right? So they're saying basically the gist of the article was they're increasing this fee. That's a cost of service fee, they're calling it.
Mhm.
It's 4.4%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're a small brewery and you already have razor thin margins, like
Yeah.
it could mean a big deal, right? So like they already have to face the competition of the bigger, the
Yep.
LCBOs and the bigger beer companies. So all these small breweries get hit by this, right? Because basically they increase a fee. The small breweries can only handle so much of that before they have to pass that down to the customer. So
Yeah.
then it ends up hurting the customer too, where you're paying more. And then how much can they really withstand, right? So the breweries are just so many different sizes to these guys. There's the tiny little microbreweries where you got guys doing it as a passion, a
Yep.
passion project. They're not making any money. So how much can those guys withstand that before it becomes too much and they have to close up, which would be terrible because a lot of these, it's like I said, it's sometimes it's a hobby turned into sort of some income, but they love it because they love presenting different beers and stuff, but they just can't handle some of the fee increases. So one thing that was interesting too, we had an election last week where so the PC, the Conservatives got back in, at least in Ontario, for Doug Ford,
Yep.
which I can say what you want about politics, but the fact that he actually won again, he's very pro. He is, say what you want about him, but he's very pro putting money back in people's pockets. And one thing he's pretty passionate about is beer.
Yes, he
If you remember
is.
Buck of Beer from a
That's
few years
right. Yeah.
ago.
That
But
was
he,
the
like
platform.
them getting elected is actually like not a bad thing for this specific instance because he may step in and intervene. So these fees are supposed to come April 1st, which is,
Yep.
a month away. So it's interesting to see that they got reelected. Probably not a bad thing for the beer, for the sake of beer, because it was in their proposal was to maybe intervene and stop this beer hike.
Yep.
But I mean, that's big news in a way because we would hate to see more craft beer breweries shut down, right, or suffer from it.
Yeah. I mean, like, eh, the we don't know what's going to happen with this trade war, right? So,
And that's the other thing, the looming tariffs, right?
right. You
Tomorrow,
don't.
what's going to happen? That's
Yeah.
another piece
You
of
don't
this.
know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, like, the one thing that, well, not one thing. I mean, it's a hobby, really. For some people, it's a hobby. Some people, it's a legit disease, right?
Some
But
people it's a living. It's means of living,
yes,
right? Yeah.
a $3, $3.50 an average can that they're selling it in the LCBO, now is what, $4? It's not a lot.
Hmm.
It's 50
Could
cents,
be.
right?
Yeah.
But that's
Could
not the
be.
point. But it costs so much more to like put it in the LCBO. And from what I'm getting, there's not a great deal of opportunity or benefit for the small craft brewer to sell in these LCBO. You still have to produce enough to be able to
Yep.
qualify as far like somebody come online and correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to produce enough to qualify to be able to get into the LCBO at first. You got to
Yep.
buy shelf space. You have to market it. You have to hope somebody picks up your can and sell it. I mean, you got to pay them a fee, I think. It's a
Not everybody
representative
gets in,
fee.
right? It's yeah.
Not everybody gets in. I know that it took Whitewater a little while to get in. It was a
Hmm.
process.
Yeah.
Um, but then in these economic turmoil times, like we don't know what's going to happen. All these guys they're trying to bring the good times to everybody, and then just all of a sudden the liquor control board is like, you know what? Let's put a halt on the good times, everybody. Here's
Yeah.
a little bit extra, jab to you kind of
Yeah.
thing. I don't
Yeah. Y'all
I
are
don't
having
like
too
it.
good a time. It's like,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
like it. So
Yeah. So I
I mean,
mean, really,
I'm still gonna
yeah.
buy
Go ahead, man.
craft beers,
Yep.
but
Well, that's what I was just gonna say was how
yeah,
do we help this? We support them, support the craft breweries, which means
100%.
going in, visiting them, buying draft
Yep,
at their location, which then the
yep,
money goes straight to them, right? It goes from their beer tanks to their taps, right? So I mean, go visit your
yeah,
breweries. That's the one way to support the local guys, right? Especially the little guys, and
yep,
take
100%.
away that middle person, right? And
Yeah,
I think that's
the
the
middleman.
best way. We're not going to stop. I would just hate to see or hear about closures and things like that just due
Absolutely.
to some hike. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it happens all the time, but through whatever the case may be, some breweries just aren't successful. They fall on a hard time or whatever, some family emergency where they have to divert all their finances to something like that or an aid relief or whatever. And but if it's the government or the provincial government that is preventing somebody from earning a living, that's not right. Like if you're raising taxes so that you know Joe Blow beer guy can't make enough beer for you, then I don't know. I don't agree with that. They should be putting
Yeah.
money back in the pockets and
Well, we'll see if Dougie steps up
old
and
Dougie.
they intercept, right? So, and I
Yep.
mean, on to the next article, kind of related. Speaking of closing doors, so the next article was about how many of the beer stores in Ontario.
Yeah.
No, there's not beer stores everywhere. It's kind of an Ontario thing, but beer stores are shutting down all over the place. There was
Yes.
another 8 locations recently just in Toronto area that shut down. So it's interesting because like the biggest piece of this the article was basically saying was like it's the prime competition these guys face is the fact that they've expanded beer sales into like grocery stores and convenience stores, right? So you can go to just Johnny's convenience on the corner and get
Yeah.
beer, rather than go to the beer store. So I mean, I'm kind of thinking like, is it a domino effect where a couple of these locations close, then more and more? I did read something quickly about part of the implementation agreement they had probably with that was that beer store has to keep at least 300 stores open by the end
Yep.
of 25. So
Yep.
they're set up for, to transition into that, but you'd hate to see them close. The only thing for me is that, like, I'm not a big beer store guy because I find they don't have craft beer, right? I mean, they do. They have usually a little section where there's a couple,
Yeah.
like tall boys and stuff, right? They're big
Yeah.
beer. They're stuff you normally walk in and have to order it from the back, right? So you kind of got
Yeah.
to know what you want. You walk in, you get 24 Corona or you get whatever, right? That's
Yeah.
how you kind of operate. So for me personally, where I'm so into craft beer now, it's not a huge impact to me, but it's just sad that that's kind of happening. I guess it's less access, but then the access is picked up with the smaller stores, right? But I'm just scared of what it would do to craft breweries too, though, because the convenience
Yeah.
stores, you have if they're selling their beer in their bottle shops, and
Yeah.
Tony's convenience on the corner can sell the same thing, right? Or something similar. Maybe it hurts them a little bit too. So that's
Yep.
that's the fear, I guess.
And it's like big macro brew
Hmm.
can I don't know if it's a contract or whatever, but yeah, you're not seeing the craft beers in the mom and pop shops, but you're seeing like Miller Lite, Bud Light, Heineken, Carlsberg, that kind of stuff. So like I read something too that it's like foreign macro breweries are
Yeah,
benefiting the most out of the grocery store and the corner store deal
big
where
beers, right?
yeah, big foreign beer is benefiting the most. So again, what is this doing to entrepreneurship and Ontario craft beer? Now we talk about Ontario craft the most because we live in Ontario, but um, just in general, what's it doing? And
Yeah.
you can go onto the Ontario Craft Brewers website and read their positions and opinions and all that stuff. And I encourage everybody to do so, just to be as informed as possible.
Well, speaking of positions, interesting enough in that article, two breweries that we both really love, Left Field, which we featured several times, Blood Brothers. So those two guys, two craft breweries, make awesome stuff. Like,
Oh
love
my
both
gosh.
of them. I'm so intrigued by trying more of the Left Field because the Blood Brothers I've tried a bunch. Love them both. They actually had some commentary on this. They were basically saying that, like you said, the foreign macro brewers are the ones benefiting. Because their bottle shops are their largest forms of revenue a lot of the time, right? So the fact that they're now in competition with all these corner stores and grocery stores kind of hurts them as well. So I'm sure they're concerned about that. And they said too in the article they would gladly sell to the corner stores, but they're not interested in craft beer.
No,
right?
they're not.
So they don't want to go down that path. So they're just selling the big beers, the easy stuff to get, right? So they said they would partner with them, but there's little interest to do that. So like I said before, the impact of the beer store closures, does it impact me? Not really. I don't really go into the beer store anyway, but the craft brewers, that's where the impact is, right? So
absolutely.
It'd be interesting to see the domino effect. And again, another negative news story, which is kind of par for the course with news these days. But, yeah, exactly. But that was interesting to read about that too. The third article started moving a little more light. I mean, it's light in a way, I guess, but I came across something that said you're talking about the breweries and all this cause and effect and beer price. There was an article saying the 10 most expensive countries in the world, like per pint, which is interesting. I'm going to bring up the list, but if you looked at the list, were you curious about any?
I was shocked.
Countries on there? Yeah,
I was shocked at the fact that New York City was on there. Excuse me.
Well, and I thought of you
at like number
just there
3.
Recently. Yeah,
I don't remember a pint costing like $12 or whatever it was. Maybe it did. I don't know.
The way they measured it was it was by pint, but it was by the most populated city in each country. So that's kind of how they did it.
Okay.
So when they ranked the countries, it was by the most populous cities, and it was all driven by Australia recently increased their beer tax, which is done, I believe, in February and August. So they increased the beer, and it almost said they put it it's almost out of reach of the average Australian customer now. Yeah. So it kind of sparked what's the most expensive beer countries in the world, and how much per pint are people paying, which I thought was interesting. I'm going to find this article. I'm just going to read off the list. I mean, there's some pretty surprising names on there. Some of them are European countries, obviously. Yep. So starting with Singapore, number 10. Pint of beer, $12.78. That's going to a Blue Jays game. That's the cost of that.
We're still not at Maple Leaf prices yet.
No. I don't think we will get to Maple Leaf prices on this list.
$49 a pint.
There, it's its own country. Zurich, Switzerland, $13.02. Beirut, Lebanon, $13.48 a pint.
Okay.
New York City, USA, $13.83 a pint. Number 7.
Like I said, I was just there. I don't recall that price, but
yeah, it's interesting how they would calculate and get to these totals. But then when you say pint, it's obviously a pint in in a restaurant, or it can't be buying it off the shelf, right? It's your entertainment factor in there too.
Although that craft and carry, a couple of those beers in the tall boy were like $6-7 a can.
Ooh, that's a lot for one tall boy.
Yep, they were delicious. Pineapple margarita one was delicious.
Oh yes,
yeah. I mean,
you got me with that one.
$7.50 a can. Yeah.
Boy. Oslo, Norway, number 6. Manama, Bahrain, number 5. Bahrain. Sounds good. Muscat, Oman. Actually, my buddy Chris was in Oman, I think last year. I think it's like the desert. Reykjavik, Iceland. I don't know if that's correct. I've seen it before. Sure.
Well, we'll have to ask Chris or Jamie.
They were there. That's right.
They've been there.
Number 2, Dubai. Heard of that place?
I could see that.
$18.15 a pint.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Woo. And number 1, Doha, Qatar. One of the hottest places on earth. Remember the Olympics were the World
the World Cup.
The Euro Cup. $19 a pint. That is, can you imagine though? Like just like that's probably your just your basic, like nothing
PBR.
special. Yeah.
PBR.
Yeah, PBR. You just order a PBR and $19. It's
Yeah,
like
I can't imagine
it's a lot,
$19
man.
for that.
Like times are already tough, right? Like let alone beer prices being a 20 every time.
I'd probably drink a lot less. I wouldn't give it all up entirely, but I'd drink a lot less.
We would not thrive in Qatar, man.
No, no. We'd have to
So
do
we're
it.
not.
We'd have to do an episode once a month.
Yeah, we'll go on location one time.
What were your beer adventures? Well, I scrounged and saved
this one
enough
beer.
to drink this one beer this month. Yeah.
Untap, be like, hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, they Untap would reach us, be like, "Is everything okay?"
You guys all right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The fourth article, this was interesting. I wasn't expecting to see something like this. So the world's first, it's called From Air beer.
Yes.
And it's a weird thing, but it's from, I believe, the Czech Republic. Leave it to them. They're like the oldest beer country in the world. But the gist of it is that because beer is 90% water and you need groundwater to make beer, it's, obviously it's, they've actually done it from the air. So they've done it from like, it's such a weird process. Like they absorb it from the atmosphere.
Yep.
And then they kind of like the steps they use is they extract it from the atmosphere. They add some custom minerals to it. And I guess what that gives the people is like this controllable beer profile that they have, and they're able to keep like the crisp, clean, the purity. Like it's just like a whole, like, so the taste is still balanced with the fact that it's made from not groundwater, which is like, what? Like that it's such a interesting concept. So it's called From Air. So it's like the first of its kind, but it's something that I think like what they're kind of saying is this going to reshape the beer industry? Is this an innovative thing that's just going to grow and be, because everybody's environmentally conscious now, right?
Oh, yeah, you have to be.
Water scarcity, all those things. And like, if we're able to do it naturally from like the air, like that's kind of crazy. So like they're like this innovative sort of technology, and they're kind of groundbreaking for the industry, but thought that was insanely like, what? Who's like, doing this?
Exactly. So I read, and I could be wrong, but I read this was in like Bangalore or something.
Yeah.
Now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Czech Pilsner, that the style they made.
That's right.
But unreal. But apparently they were saying like groundwater has too many variables, right? For an inconsistent product. So now they can harness or extract the particles or the condensation or whatever it is from the atmosphere. And then they put in exactly the same thing every time. And you get a Czech Pilsner or you get a lager or whatever. But it's like, these are the things that we're doing.
Well, and I read a line in there too, and it said basically like 3,000 liters of groundwater makes 1,000 liters of RO water, whatever that is. Didn't research that further. And then that makes about 500 liters of beer. So you can imagine like the amount of water this takes, and that the fact that they're doing this. I guess the next question for me is like, is it sustainable? Can they grow it into like, they're able to do it at a much more efficient, like higher volume, like who knows? But the fact that it's being done, kind of crazy.
It is crazy. It did say in that article a little bit that like the sustainability factor is very high.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be interested to try it. Send a sample.
Right.
I mean, we'll see.
I'll reach out to the From Air crew and say like, hey, we talked about you.
Hey guys,
do you ship?
Need us? Yeah, you need us.
You need us.
We'll spread your word, your gospel. We're 8
we
deep.
just did to like 20 listeners. Come on, man.
Yeah. All of which are family, but they will tell people. You need us, man.
Send samples.
Yes. Free samples. Free samples. Send free samples.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really want to pay for it, but
we're not paying postage.
We'd love to try. Shipping's high these days, man.
Yes.
So the last article on a lighter note is I saw something called the 7, well, not the 7, but there's probably dozens of articles about this, but these are 7 beer trends to follow in 2025. So we're moving into this From Air era, and these are just 7 trends that are kind of going on
Yes.
to watch out for. It doesn't mean you have to follow them to the letter, but like, just keep an eye out for this stuff in this year and beyond. This came from Beverage Daily.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of go through the 7. So the first one was craft beer.
Yep.
so like watch out for craft beer. We kind of know that already, right? We know dummies.
We're in the know there. We're good. But
Well,
apparently, like
too,
it did dip a little bit.
Yeah, so like and I think the beer industry as a whole dipped, but I think craft beer wasn't hit as hard, and actually like it kind of not I would say flourished, but it was strong compared. So like hopefully that's a good thing. I saw a stat too. It said in 2022 there were 9,675 U.S. breweries, and that it actually went up in 23. I don't know if there's data for 24, but it actually went up. So I'm like,
Eventually,
all right, that's encouraging, but. You don't need to talk to us about craft beer on this thing. We know that's a trend. We are following said trend.
Yes.
We will continue to follow said trend.
We have our finger on the pulse on this one.
We are good.
But I also read too that it while beer was trending down, craft beer in general was increasing their market share by over 13% in 2023 or 2022. So I mean, these are good signs, right? Like. Not everybody wants just a Budweiser or whatever. They want a raspberry lime ghost, or they want a cherry lime sour, or we want dark matter. You know what I mean?
Experimentation's is up. That's good.
Yep.
That's good with beer.
100%.
The second trend was sustainability, which I kind of read that as like loyalty. So like a lot of people are, environmentally responsible and see that in, they see that in these companies now. So they're big on like raw materials and the local materials and energy efficiencies and water and packaging and all that stuff. So it's a big craze right now. But I think like sustainability and the loyalty goes with that in terms of like, people generally follow when these companies do good things like that. So I think that's a trend to watch out for. Like even like the packaging, like it's a small thing, but if you see if they're doing things differently, more efficiently, more environmentally friendly, like that's something some people just grab onto that and they just
100%,
like, oh, I'm all about this company because they do things right. And I'm like, hey, that's if that's your niche,
it's ethically sourced. We're good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's big.
They turn dog urine back into water. I love those guys.
Like
I don't know who they are, but
I hate wasting dog urine.
Yeah, dog urine is disgusting.
Why are we wasting it?
They make it back into water.
And then they get it from the air.
I don't know. Yeah. That is kind of cool though, the from air thing. But anyway,
yeah, I mean that kind of fits into that, right? Like it seems like it. Like they're gonna have like a cult following because of this environmentally safe thing.
And because we mentioned
alcohol free. This is a big thing. I think we kind of mentioned that earlier. Like,
it's a big movement, man.
It's growing, a big movement. The non-alcoholic. Yep. I think it's because they're kind of they probably nail the taste now, and I think people are. I think the younger generation are like more conscious of I don't know, just like being healthier and it's kind of a movement. So personally, I mean, there's things that happen on this podcast, but I mean, maybe we'll have a time when we do just non-alcoholic and do a thing, right?
We could have 4 per. Like, these are non-alcoholics. Yeah. What are you drinking now? I don't know, but I really got to go. But
you're like, oh, it's just
no, I mean, I've had a couple of non-alcoholic beers, and they taste exactly the same. Exactly.
I've never had one, so
yeah, they're so good.
I gotta trust what you say.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think they're getting close. Like I said, we're getting close to perfecting that taste, right? Like
Yeah, and I mean it's a big movement in Europe right now too, right? It's just it's trending upward for sure.
Yep.
But I mean, so for people like us, where we're super busy, but like you're at the soccer field to watch 2 games, and it's 38 degrees outside. You just bring a couple of zero beers there, and like you want a beer with it. You're having the beer flavor, and you're really good to drive home.
And you're looking badass because it looks like you're just like, I don't give a
damn.
I'm drinking beer. I'm crushing beers.
Yes, there's
and
zeros.
You're really not.
Don't look at my can. We don't support drinking and driving.
No, or drinking typically at soccer games, although there may be some exceptions.
Okay, so you're telling me Soccer dads don't drink at soccer games, okay? Soccer moms, what's in those Stanley Cups? Stephanie, I'm looking at you.
Spritzers.
Right? Yeah, this is an Aperol Spritz. But
The
a
White
guy on our
Claw.
ball team, he'll bring 0 beers afterwards just because it's not worth the risk, man. It's not worth the
Yeah,
risk.
and
He'll have some.
he's still part of
He'll,
the
yeah,
end game,
he'll
right?
have some cold ones at the end of the game and be good to go home.
Hmm.
So
It's not the worst idea.
nope.
Next one, innovative flavors and ingredients. I think this speaks to the experimentation factor, and you're seeing the things now. Not that we're strangers to it, but sour beers, IPAs, hazy IPAs, like new experiences. Yep. I think we don't even need to touch on that. I think it's just the experience factor. People of these breweries love trying different things. The wackier flavors, the better. You got jalapenos involved. You got chocolate, banana. You got, just
It's
this.
the shock value.
It is the like, what are they doing now? Like, yeah, so
right. You're
that's
putting
that's
what
big
into
now.
where?
Yeah, because
The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
well, at worst, people want to just try it, right? Like
That's it.
If you sell one, well, if you got 1,000 people that want to try it, you sold 1,000, right? So
Limited release, boom, marketing.
exactly right. It's a sexy thing.
Yeah.
The next one, collaboration brews. We talked a little bit about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just beer or breweries. It's like chefs, it's businesses, it's all that stuff. It's food pairings, it's all that stuff. So like the collaborations, like it's getting crazy where these crossovers and who's next, right? Like who?
Yeah.
You
What are
never
we
know.
doing?
When are you gonna see Gordon Ramsay's mug on a side of a beer can, right? It's just what it is. It's people love socializing that stuff now.
I'd probably drink a Gordon Ramsay beef Wellington jelly cake. Just gonna throw that out there. Let's make it happen.
Well, what do we
Beef
have?
Wellington's a delicious food, and so is jelly cake. Jelly cake's delicious. So synergy.
Well, didn't we have one of those crazy name beers a couple episodes ago? The double spaghetti,
double
town.
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah,
Spaghetti
I
town.
don't think that's collab, but it could pass it off for sure.
Sure, why not?
This one, the regional. It's called Regional Styles Revived, and I didn't quite get this. I think it's just because a lot of people are celebrating like local heritage and things like that. So these old style beers may make a comeback, a revival. So you got your lesser known beer styles. Obviously beer's going one way, but the old ones come back, and I feel like everything at some point, man, comes back around.
Cyclical.
When are we going to start watching VHS again? Blockbuster's going to come back. It's I hope to God.
Blockbuster, of all the things to say,
Yes.
Blockbuster's coming back.
It's coming back.
Oh
Listen,
my gosh.
March 3rd, 2025. Write this down if you're listening. Blockbuster will come back. I guarantee it. Because it's going to be, people are going to crave eventually that physical experience of going to rent a movie. I don't know if it's going to be videos or anything, but like Blockbuster will come back in a physical sense, in my opinion. I feel like that nostalgic thing, people live on that. And the new generation doesn't know what it's like. So I can see that being like, Friday night, let's go hang out at Blockbuster and, rent Mission Impossible 18.
Well, and we live in an area, or I live in an area now where like the mom and pop stores that are now selling beer and wine, they used to rent videos.
Oh, absolutely. They put the little clip on, you rented. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd get 2 or 3 copies, but you'd have to call days in advance and reserve your copy. And you would go pick it up at, say, Friday at 6 o'clock, but you had to have that sucker back at 10 a.m. because Joan down the street wanted it at 11.
If you're like me at this small town, I remember like my cousin would work at the convenience store. So you'd go there and you'd want a movie and you'd be like, who has it out right now? And you'd ask. And if you knew them well enough, you'd call them. And be like,
go over to their house.
Peggy, hey, you're like 2 hours. I really want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And bring that shit back rewound, please.
Yes.
I ain't trying to spend 2 minutes rewinding it. But it's like you'd see like, oh, who has it? Oh, okay. Like but like you'd have that much access to seeing who had the movie. Oh, it was fantastic. The old days, man.
Not for nothing. I hope Blockbuster doesn't come back because the heartache when your movie is not. They got 50 copies and they're all rented.
And you're looking for the one without the thing on it.
I don't think today's youth. I don't think today's youth rebounds from that.
Well,
that's a letdown. That's a letdown that they can't come back from.
That's. I can't wait to do the Blockbuster episode.
Yeah, we were tough back in the day. We just rented some other garbage that we
Or
didn't
you
want to
walked
watch.
out with nothing
That's
and
it.
dealt with it.
Yeah, you bought candy and left.
You try it again tomorrow.
That's it. You sit
And you
there
asked
and
them to go check the bin. Did he
you'd
come in
watch
the
people.
bin?
Yeah, you'd watch people, and you're like, I think it's that one sliding down.
Oh, what a time, man! I miss that.
Time to be alive.
And the last one is enhanced experiences is a trend, which we don't need to talk about that.
We've done this before because it's going to the brewery. Like,
yep,
they have tastings and pairings and all that stuff, and like that's what it is.
Yep, that's why
visit your local brewery, people. They want to see you.
Do it.
Yeah.
I have one last surprise one for you, and it's just a funny one. I'm gonna actually read the paragraph because it's hilarious.
Okay.
I didn't send this one to you, but this guy is us, man. So the article is about a guy who got arrested in Guelph for getting basically upset, and he got charged with robbery because they wouldn't sell him beer after 2 a.m. So this is the whole article right here.
Okay.
It's basically
a paragraph long.
It's a paragraph.
Okay.
It's so funny. Just after 2 a.m. Thursday, a man arrived in an Uber to a business on Speedvale Avenue. He attempted to buy 3 cans of beer, but was told by the clerk he could not sell them due to the time. The man left the store, but came back a short time later and asked the clerk if he could sell him beer if he had a gun pointed at him. During a conversation, the man had his hands in his pockets and was fidgeting, causing the clerk to fear he had a weapon. When the clerk picked up the phone to call the police, the man grabbed 6 more beers and left the scene. He was located a short time later and placed under arrest. So, my man got a little fidgety and got
Darnell needed his fix.
And he took 6 of his leaves and thinks he's not going to get caught. Oh my God, man. Just like, I feel like that's probably a daily thing somewhere. That's, guy needed his beer, man.
Likely. But hey, sometimes it's a disease, but it doesn't sound like that guy in particular had a disease.
He was 25 as well. So
it sounded like he just didn't want the good times to end.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to live forever.
It was Thursday. So.
Thursday, like 3 days ago, Thursday?
I think like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a time to be alive.
Oh man. Well, that's a wrap, bud. I'm glad we got to do this again.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get back on our schedule. And we've been talking a lot about guests lately, and I think we're going to start to introduce the 3-man booth. We'll get some guests on here. Sounds like you made lots of good connections I hope there. So. There's plenty of people around here too that we we visit the breweries. We kind of talk to them about it. And the stickers help, but we also have lots of friends and family that love to listen, but they also would make good guests too. So we're gonna work on getting that in the next episode or two. We're gonna start not every episode, but because we gotta have our thing, but. The guests are they'll bring a lot of fun and a lot of insight and different experiences and things like that. So I'm looking forward to have these people on, especially the people in the breweries too, like that do it and their story. Everyone's story is a little different. So
absolutely.
Very looking forward to that.
I think, I don't think every brewery story is like, you know what? I just really liked beer and decided that I wanted to peddle it. I hated working for the man, so I decided to make and sell my own beer. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that is every single brewery story. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see where we're headed. We're almost eclipsing, or we're getting close to double digits, and I feel like everybody's starting to really get to know us.
Yeah,
and then we'll bring in some other people that can enjoy or join in on our shenanigans, and
that's what it is.
And just talk beer and just.
Oh, I know you got to get going. So you got to get to the mall parking lot and put some of those stickers on windshields. So
yes,
I'm gonna leave you to that.
Another thing that I like
advertising.
Another thing that I like to do is push their mirror in so that they have to adjust it. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, these guys
again.
Yeah, it's one of my other favorite things to do.
Yeah,
I'll make sure I dust off their cars first as like a courtesy because the snow is on them. I'll be like, I did this for you, or I'll write it on their hood or something. I cleaned your car for you. Sticker.
Well, I don't have any stickers yet, so I'm just gonna go right on the dirty sides of the cars, pint taken, and then
Yeah, this was not Mike.
yeah, follow at and put the
Yeah,
socials on there. Just
start drawing all the symbols. I would love to see you hand draw an Instagram sticker or symbol on a dirty car.
oh my god, I'm gonna try.
X is easy.
Yeah. Well, if I get that logo, I'll put it on the socials. But
Perfect.
until next time, bud.
Yes, sir.
Won't be 3 weeks, and there won't be norovirus squeezed in the middle.
Well, we sure hope not. Health, wealth, and drinking beer. Cheers,
That's right.
bud.
Cheers, bud.